Howdy folks, welcome to Lightroom, and we're going to do some editing on this photo. People have asked me how I do some of these edits, so I'm going to go ahead and show y'all. First thing I'm going to do, I like to crop my shit. Okay, so here we go. And I'm going to put that there. I'm going to make sure the horizon's level. And I'm going to keep the elements of this picture that I want to keep. So I like the little splashy thingy over there by the pier. Not too much going on this side, so I'm going to kind of keep some of the sky. And that's about where I'm going to put that. Maybe a little more. Like this. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. Okay, so now we're going to do something I like to do in all my photos. I'm going to take my highlights and bring them down. See, that immediately kind of brings back some of that sky. And I like that sky. That sky is pretty sweet, so I'm going to leave it there. Then I like to take my shadows and raise them up a little bit. Bring back some of the detail in them dark places. I like them dark places. But anyway, here we go. And I like to dip the blacks down. You know, give it some punch. Oh, yeah, that's pretty sweet. Oh, that is pretty. And the whites, I'll actually take the whites up. So it kind of like takes the brightest parts and gives them some more zazzle. Zazzle? Did I just make up a word? I believe I just did. So anyway, that's where I usually start. And then I start tweaking. Like I'm looking at this image and I'm like going, alright, let me see, what can I do? I will take my graduated filter and I like to add a little bit of like a spill on one side. So like I'll go exposure up a little bit, clarity down, and give it extra warmth. Yeah. And I'll just play with this and I'll just keep dragging it in until I say, okay, that's too much. That's too much. I don't know, about right there. Maybe take down this yellow bit and the exposure. Just to give it a little bit more of a soft glow coming from that upper left hand corner. I like that. That is pretty. Okay, so now we're going to take this graduated filter again. Hold down the shift key and we're going to drag up. And I'm going to put myself a little bit of a dark spot on the bottom. I'd like to darken it up at the bottom. I don't know why this photo just screamed at me to darken the bottom, so I'm going to darken the bottom. Yeah, darkening bottoms, that's what I'm all about. Okay, so we're going to take the yellows, and I like to give that yellow, see that little yellow coming through, that little strip of yellow? It almost makes it feel like that sun is kind of like glowing in the foreground. I kind of like that shit. That's pretty good. I don't know. And then I'll experiment with vignetting. So if I hit the, let's see, if I hit the what the hell is this called again? Oh, the radial filter. And I hit the radial filter, and I come into my picture, and I hold down Control, and I double click. Oh man, I didn't have that freaking radial filter. There we go. I come in here, I hold down Control, and I double click. I think I need another shot of tequila. Hold on, boys. So if I double click, it automatically puts that radial filter smack dab in the middle, and it automatically puts that circular image right on the edges. So then I can come in here. If I go down on my exposure, of course I have to uncheck invert mask. You can go really crazy. I don't like that at all. Or you can do this, make it kind of like a washed out portrait, like a sketch. But I'm gonna just drop it a little bit, like so. Yeah. Kind of gives it a more dramatic, moody feel. So if we look at like the before, there we go. See, it's kind of like really punchy. It gives it more punch. I like punch, especially there's tequila in it. So now I'm going to kind of work on our subject here. I kind of like to put a little radial filter around her. I'm going to keep invert mask checked. Reset these. Then I'm going to like slowly raise the exposure a little bit, warm her up a little bit, and give it more clarity. and some sharpness. Contrast, highlight. There we go. So now she's a little bit more, I don't know, more the focal point of the image, I guess you could say. But I kind of like it the way this is. I can always go into Photoshop and tweak it even more. Like, I can show you a trick that I like to do. Let's see, edit in Photoshop. I love my Photoshop. But one of the tricks I learned in Photoshop, if I hit Control Alt and the @ sign or the number 2, it kind of already highlights or automatically highlights the light parts of the image. So the light parts on the image are now highlighted. You can see if I duplicate it onto its own layer and hide the background, you can see that it kind of like automatically selected all the bright parts of the image, and these dark parts are just transparent. So if I were to take that part that I just selected, put on its own layer, and I go to multiply, oof, it darkens up that, you know, gives that light part of the image more punch. See if I uncheck it, to check it, uncheck it, and check it. And I can just keep going this way. I could duplicate it again and give it even more. But I think that's a little bit too powerful. You can always change the opacity of these layers individually. I'm going to discard that one. I want to look at see what the hell this looks like. Now, I like this. And then you can always put a layer mask and paint with a black soft brush at a low opacity and bring back the parts that you want being light. There we go. Them parts I want being light are going to be light. Yeah, look at that. That's pretty. I like to say pretty a lot. The way pretty rolls out my mouth, I like the way that sounds. It's pretty. There we go. Alright, I'm back. And we're going to do this one in black and white and maybe some other kinds of edits. So we're going to figure this out together. I'm just going to do what I normally do when I edit a picture. I'm just going to fly by the seat of my pants. This one here is from ZombieCon 2014. We got some pregnant zombie here, man. She's chewing on her umbilical cord. She got a baby coming out of her stomach there. Looks like she just went hunting. Decided to eat the deer raw. I ain't eating deer raw. I'm just gonna crop this son of a bitch first. There we go. Get rid of some of the distractions. Gonna do something like this. There we go. And when you do black and white in Lightroom, there's several ways to go. I like to go kind of simple, but you can, you know, if you go to black and white, basically it desaturates the image and you got control over the colors. Now the colors are still there, so like anything that was red, if I go to the red slider, the blood was red. See how it darkens up that red? Ooh, that's juicy blood right there. If you go all the way up, it almost disappears. But we don't want that. We want blood. So we darken up the blood. And let's see, oranges. Her hair and her face was kind of orange. And see if I go like this, almost looks like an infrared hair or something like that. And the yellows, can darken that up too. But I'm gonna just go the normal route. I'm gonna go back to color, and I'm gonna just drop the saturation all the way down to 0. The 0, I like that. And again, what I like to do, highlights all the way down, bring the shadows up, knock the blacks down and the highlights up. For some reason I find that this highlights down, whites up, blacks down, shadows up. If you remember that, I don't know if you memorize that, but anyway, for the most part it kind of gives a good punchy look to the pictures, at least in my, ooh, that's pretty cool right there. Anyway, I think her face is a little dark, so I'm going to take the Radial Filter. I like to call this a little flashlight. If I move this around, it's like a little flashlight beam. I can like, ooh, there's a baby. Ooh, there's a hand. Ooh, there's some blood. I'm going to go over here with her face. Going to reset that and just going to go up a little bit with the saturation. And then the clarity. That gives that some punch. Raise the shadows up a little bit. I'm going to sharpen it just a little bit. And that kind of brings attention more to her face. See, this is before. That's after. I think her face stands out quite a bit more in this black and white. Now I'll take my radial filter again, come in here, and if I hold down control and I double click, it automatically centers that sumbitch right in the middle. Uncheck invert mask, and you can go one of two ways. You can go all the way up and kind of make it a light colored vignette, or you can go down deep dark like this. I like the deep dark, especially in this one because it's a horror image. So there we go. I want to like bring more attention to this fetus baby down here, whatever's going on here, and then we're gonna raise that up. Clarity. There we go. And that's pretty good right there. I mean, you can go into Photoshop and do some more crap with it. I'm gonna show you guys a little trick that I like to do. Instead of sharpening it the normal way, there's a little trick in Photoshop I come across. Now I'm gonna share it with you now. If we duplicate, Control J, duplicate that layer, and we put this into overlay mode, that actually looks pretty good in overlay mode right there. It looks like a real horror still. But if you put that in overlay, you go to filter, other, high pass. High pass, I don't know what it does, but it kind of like highlights the edges or something. You see over here, and the higher you go, the more funky it gets. And at some point it gets too funky. Like it almost defunks itself. You said defuck. No, I said funk with an N. I thought I heard fuck. Shut up, boys. I had enough of you. Anyway, back down. So now it's nothing. And she just keep going up and up and up until I see that punch come into her face like that. There we go. So there you go. It's like no, yes, no, yes. I like that a lot. Awesome. That's a pretty good black and white right there.
I hope you enjoyed what that dude was talking about.
Yeah, I couldn't understand a fucking word he was saying.
Shut up, butt munch. Anyway, that was the tutorial. Bye now.
Yeah, bye.